bang. Rowan, I couldn't do that at 27. No nonsense, straight to the point, courage, detail.
Finally happened. The lawsuit everyone assumed would quietly disappear didn't just survive. It detonated. What followed is being described by media insiders as the most financially devastating judgment ever tied to a television dispute in U.S. history. Caroline Leavitt didn't simply walk away with a legal victory. She ignited a media shockwave so loud, so destabilizing, that ABC and The View are now scrambling to contain what sources are calling a slow-burning corporate meltdown. The reported figure, hundreds of millions, sent shock through the industry. Hosts once untouchable suddenly went silent. Familiar faces vanished from the spotlight. And Caroline? She didn't run victory laps. She stood firm, composed, commanding attention without saying a word. This wasn't just a courtroom outcome, it was a public reckoning. A moment that shattered assumptions about power, protection, and consequences in modern media. Once a ratings giant, The View now stares down a brutal new reality as speculation swirls about its future. Stay locked in because what comes next is pure upheaval. We're breaking down the fallout, the internal panic, the leaked reactions, and how one underestimated figure flipped the script on a media empire. Before we dive deeper, hit like if you're tired of double standards. Subscribe so you don't miss what drops next. Ready? Let's unpack how a daytime powerhouse spiraled into crisis.
There is so much good news, so much winning out of the Trump White House right now that the mainstream legacy media can't keep up with.
The moment the verdict became public, the impact didn't stop with the show. It rippled straight through ABC's financial foundation. Market analysts reacted instantly. Stock movement turned volatile. Commentators scrambled. Financial desks interrupted programming to track the unfolding chaos. What had been considered an untouchable brand suddenly looked exposed. Advertising partners didn't wait for press releases. They pulled back immediately. Industry insiders described it as a dam breaking. One sponsor gone, then another, then another. Phones rang nonstop. Planned campaigns evaporated. The revenue engine behind The View stalled almost overnight. And here's the twist that stunned executives the most. The network's insurance safeguards reportedly didn't apply to this kind of judgment. Allegations of intentional wrongdoing changed everything. No buffer, no fallback. Emergency meetings followed. Rooms filled with tense faces, legal teams racing through numbers, executives asking the same question over and over. Can this be contained? Then a word started circulating quietly at first, then louder: restructuring. Even bankruptcy. Hiring freezes hit. Budgets vanished. Travel canceled. Morale collapsed. Through it all, Caroline remained silent. No interviews. No victory posts. That restraint spoke volumes. As ABC struggled to steady itself, The View didn't just wobble. It sank. And the person they once dismissed? She had become the center of gravity. And this was only the beginning.
So Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the...
Caroline's silence said more than any press conference ever could. This wasn't about clout or celebration. It was accountability finally catching up. For the hosts of The View, the moment marked more than embarrassment. It was a freefall. No safety net. No soft landing. And behind the scenes, the reckoning intensified. Inside ABC headquarters, emergency briefings replaced rehearsals. Legal consultations replaced glam squads. Sources describe a chilling shift hosts now viewed not as assets but as liabilities. One by one, they were summoned into closed-door meetings where attorneys laid out uncomfortable possibilities. Personal exposure. Financial consequences. The tone was blunt. Panic followed. Crisis managers were hired. Meetings skipped. Emails unanswered. Tears shed behind closed doors. Meanwhile, Caroline's legal team unveiled material that reframed the entire narrative. Messages, clips, internal communications presented not as accidents, but as patterns. The defense tried to downplay it as unscripted banter. But the documentation told another story. And when previously unseen footage surfaced, remarks made off-camera, dismissive jokes about consequences, the room reportedly went still. That single moment crystallized public frustration with media arrogance. It wasn't just damaging, it was defining. And with that, the story shifted from scandal to symbol.
How ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists, but they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
The financial damage was only part of it. What followed was a cascade: investor unrest, shareholder scrutiny, legal exposure expanding by the day. Executives reportedly laid out the numbers in stark terms. Lost ad revenue, mounting legal costs, sponsorship withdrawals, brand erosion. This wasn't a manageable hit. It was structural damage. Then another clip surfaced online and went viral within minutes. The reaction was instant. Sponsors paused. Partners reconsidered. Parent companies quietly explored worst-case scenarios. Internal conversations turned grim. Some believed swift firings could signal accountability. Others warned that sudden moves would confirm guilt. Arguments erupted. Accusations flew. A buried internal poll resurfaced, one that had warned about this exact backlash. Now it was evidence. The crisis multiplied. ABC's timeline from damage control to existential threat collapsed in record time. And as the network scrambled, Caroline's team didn't respond. No negotiations, no statements, because the verdict had already spoken. Across the industry, executives watched closely. Other networks initiated audits. Contracts changed. New liability clauses appeared overnight. The illusion of immunity was gone. One lawsuit had forced an industry-wide reset. A single case had redrawn the map.
Most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world.
And that brings us here, not just to the end of a news cycle, but the close of an era. Studio lights dimmed. Audiences paused. Once dominant spaces felt hollow. The View, a fixture of daytime television, now faces an uncertain future under the weight of financial strain and public scrutiny. And standing apart from the wreckage is Caroline Leavitt, the figure once brushed aside, now impossible to ignore. This didn't begin with some elaborate master plan. It started with mockery, with a segment meant to belittle rather than debate. And step by step, that moment unraveled everything. The numbers don't lie. The outcome reshaped careers, contracts, and conversations. For many watching at home, this wasn't just about one personality or one show. It was about accountability finally having teeth. About institutions learning they aren't untouchable. Caroline didn't shout. She documented. She didn't perform. She prepared. And in doing so, she altered the balance of power. Now producers hesitate. Hosts rethink. Lawyers rewrite. The message is clear, words have weight. And when truth is backed by evidence, even giants fall. So we leave you with this: what happens next? Should The View continue? Is this the start of a broader media reset? Drop your thoughts below. If this moment mattered to you, hit like. Subscribe to follow what comes next. Share this with anyone who still believes the media answers to no one. Because this time, the empire didn't bend. It broke. And history will remember who held the receipts. And this brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next. Caroline didn't shout. She documented. She didn't perform. She prepared. And in doing so, she altered the balance of power. Now producers hesitate. Hosts rethink. Lawyers rewrite. The message is clear, words have weight. And when truth is backed by evidence, even giants fall. So we leave you with this: what happens next? Should The View continue? Is this the start of a broader media reset? Drop your thoughts below. If this moment mattered to you, hit like. Subscribe to follow what comes next. Share this with anyone who still believes the media answers to no one. Because this time, the empire didn't bend. It broke. And history will remember who held the receipts. And this brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next.